Good morning, everyone. I'm out on this beautiful spring morning in a very peaceful and tranquil garden. I want to share with you some of my favorites for summer reading for this year. Some are new to me, some are old to me. Let's check them out. So today I want to share with you 6 books in my collection that I think are really neat and would be really good summer reading. Lots of different interests across the board here, so let's check them out. So the first one is a brand new one to me. It's Pascal Bodar's Wildcrafted Fermentation. I'll just show you the cover there. So this one is brand new, hot off the press, and as you guys know, I love Pascal's work. He's a wild forager and he really likes exploring the flavors of his local terroir, as he calls it. So he does a lot of really interesting fermentation projects. I have all of his other books as well, including The Wildcrafted Brewer, which helps you make, champagnes, wines, beers, wild sodas, as it were, that are non-alcoholic. So really interesting guy, really likes exploring with all kinds of different flavors. So this one right here is his newest one, is Wildcrafted Fermentation. It's a beautiful book. I have the soft cover version. I don't think it comes in hardcover, but you can see it's got a lot of beautiful photographs in there, a lot of amazing foods. Talks about making spice blends and hot sauces, like fermenting your own hot sauce. How cool is that? I'm really looking forward to making some of his smoked hot sauce, the wild jalapeno hot sauce. You can see that right there. Really excited about that. And come blueberry season, he has a really interesting recipe in here for fermenting wild blueberries. Lacto-fermented wild blueberries with wild aromatics, so wild plants in there to spice things up. So take a look there. Wild fermented blueberries. So I'm going to have a huge stock of those this year, so I'm really excited about that. This starts off really basically with how to make your own sauerkraut, which is how I kind of started doing some of the wild fermentations, was making sauerkraut. Really easy. He talks about all the principles, food safety in here, and I like it because, he's pretty relaxed about the recipes and encourages you to explore things on your own. So if you're getting into wild fermenting, this is Pascal's new book. Check it out. So talking about food, I guess we'll just stick with that theme for a second. I had this book, it was like a year or two ago, called Out of Ontario Kitchens. I'm from Ontario, Canada, and this book is by Lindsay Machevsky. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but it's a really interesting book. It's sort of recipes that you would find, in your grandmother's, drawers and cupboards, and they'll tucked away in old recipe books. Also contains some very interesting photographs in here. So I really recommend it. So for example, there's a little bit of history about it, where the recipe came from. There's a really interesting old photograph, and they kind of write them up a little bit, like on, cue cards that you would kind of see, when you're going through your relatives' cupboards and stuff like that. So really interesting. It sort of talks a bit about histories of the local area. Again, more pictures. It's pretty reasonably priced, about $25. It's a hardcover book, and the recipes are in it are pretty basic, like potato soup, for example. Also has some multicultural recipes in there as well, and there's also some really amazing indigenous recipes in here. So it is very interesting. I really like this book, and I have yet to try something out of it yet, but I will get on it. Very interesting book. I hope you guys enjoy it. Of course, now a lot of folks are out fishing, and there's things coming up in the fall for hunting, of course in spring as well. I want to introduce you guys to Hank Shaw's book, Hunt, Gather, Cook. He also has other books out there as well you guys may be familiar with. So this is a really interesting book. He talks about the different species that you would be looking for, how to prepare them, and some really interesting recipes. So, there's some things in here I don't really know much about because they are not found in my area. He talks about fish, even talks about things like making elderberry wine. So it's not always, hunting and fishing in there. There's things that he gathers as well and discusses about the plant, how to prepare it. One interesting thing for me was a lot of the mussels and shellfish. I don't experience that. He talks really in depth about all the different kind of crab species out there, how you prepare it. Really interesting guy. I follow him on Instagram. He has a lot of really interesting travels around the US, and how he makes his really interestingly flavored dishes. A lot of different wild meats and fish and stuff that he uses as well. So if you're really into that kind of stuff and you want to learn a bit more about it, this is a really good book. There's a lot of background information in there as well as recipes. And again, he's got other books out there if you're interested. The next book I have to show you guys is on my cell phone. I do carry a lot of books on my phone because, as you know, it's tricky to carry all your favorite books around when you want to read them for the summer or take them to the beach. So you might want to have a book on your tablet or your phone. This one is new to me. I just started reading it, and it's a poetry book. Let's take a look. So this book right now I have on my phone through a library called archive.org, and I've got an application called Digital Edition. So it's downloaded to that. It allows me to loan the book for anywhere between 1 hour and up to 14 days, and I believe I can renew it after that. So here's the book. It's called Black Nature, 4 Centuries of African American Nature Poetry. It's edited by Camille T. Dungy. So it's amazing. It's got, 98 different authors, I believe, like over 100 different poems in here. It's really great. You can kind of pick it up and, just like when you really don't have a lot of time to sit down and read a huge book, you might want to just sit down and be in a quiet spot and read a little bit of poetry. So I'm going to read to you a poem from this book. The poems are organized into 10 cycles. It's kind of a different theme. So this one is by Robert Hayden. It's called Night Blooming Sirius. And so for nights we waited, hoping to see the heavy bud break into flower. On its neck-like tube, hooking down from the edge on the leaf branch, nearly to the floor, the bud packed tight, and its miracle swayed stiffly on breaths of air moved. As though impelled by stirrings within itself, it repelled as much as it fascinated me. Sometimes snake, eyeless bird head, beak would gape with grotesque life squawk. But you, my dear, conceded less to the bizarre than to imminence of bloom. Yet we agreed we ought to celebrate the blossom, paint ourselves, dance in honor of archaic mysteries when it appeared. Meanwhile, we waited, aware of rigorous design. Baxter's polygraph, I thought, and would have shown, as it clearly had a philodendron sphere, tribal sentience in the cactus, focused energy of will. The belling of tropic perfume, the signaling not meant for us, the darkness, cloying with summoning fragrance, we dropped trivial tasks, and marveling beheld, at last, the achieved flower. Its moonlight petals were still unfolding, the spike fringe of outer perianth recessing as we watched. Lunar presence foredoomed, already dying, it charged the room with plengency. Older than human cries, ancient as prayers invoking Osiris, Krishna, Teshkapulika, we spoke in whispers as we spoke of it all. That was really cool. I like that. So many poems in here. You can just, I have it on my phone. It's quite a large book, so it's easy just to carry this with me. And if I just want a moment to kind of relax, I will pull this out and read a poem or two. So check it out. You can also buy it on Amazon, and I believe there's a few small publishers publishing the book as well. But it's really neat. This online library is really neat because you can just get all kinds of books like you would at your library. And now with social distancing and some businesses being closed, you may not be able to get into your local libraries. So archive.org is really good if you're looking for a book and you want to have it on loan for up to an hour to 14 days. Go check it out. So here's an oldie but a goodie, Song of the Paddle by Bill Mason. So if you guys are into camping, canoe camping, wilderness adventures, I really love this book. It's great for beginners and people that are seasoned alike. And it's written by Bill Mason, I think back, I don't know if it was back in the 70s or something. Let me just check. Oh, this one's basically published in 1988. So yeah, a lot of this stuff hasn't changed, this is where I got some information on how to make my tent, fire making, really interesting, doing a lot of whitewater rafting. So if you want to learn how to do that, it's got a lot of good information in here about that. Really good pictures, equipment repairs, types of canoes. It just goes over everything that you would need to know before heading out on your first wilderness camping trip. So it's written a few books. The Song of the Paddle is a really famous one. This is kind of a hand-me-down in the family, so I really love having this one around. And let me tell you, I went to this book a few times when I was making my canvas wall tent. He has several ways to do it, and even how to make those little, you saw how I made a little stove for my canvas wall tent, and he has a pattern in here for actually how to make your own wood stove for camping. And lots of, paddling techniques too. So, can't say enough about this book. It's an oldie and a goodie. You want to keep this one around if you have it handed down to you. You can probably find this in a library as well. Speaking of wilderness camping, if you want to get immersed in a really amazing adventure, check out Justin Barber's book, Man and Dog. I won this in a little contest he had I've known him for a while here on YouTube. Man and Dog Through the Newfoundland Wilderness, and one of his colleagues there did the intro for it. It's about a 700-kilometer trip across Newfoundland, and there's lots of great photos in here, lots of great stories. You guys may be watching his videos right now on his YouTube channel. You know, really awesome book, some really hair-raising adventures in here, really good times with him and his dog, Saku. So I know you're gonna love this. It is just a page turner. It's really good. There's a few moments in there where it's a little hair-raising, but really great adventure from the comfort of your own home or the beach or your cottage this summer. Check it out. It's a quick read, and I know you're going to love this. So you can buy this on Amazon as well if you want to check it out online. Last but not least is Richard Wagamise's book called One Drum: Stories and Ceremonies for a Planet. You know, our planet right now is in a lot of turmoil and chaos, and I find this book is really helpful in grounding me and centering me. There's a lot of beautiful stories with really wonderful messages that have been passed down to him. He's an Indigenous storyteller and author from northwestern Ontario, and there's a lot of different ceremonies as well in this book that you can easily perform, you know, yourself. So, you know, when things are chaotic and hectic these days, this is a really good book to sit down with and just kind of relax. So find a nice quiet location and read this book. I want to read to you a section of one of the ceremonies in here that is really important nowadays. It's in the section called Breathe. So let's just take a look at it. So I'm going to read to you just an excerpt from the first ceremony called the Sacred Breath. Relax, let go of all tension or expectations or plans. Close your eyes. Breathe. As you breathe, allow yourself to feel the process. Notice the way the air feels coursing through our nose or through our mouth. Feel the swell of your chest as it fills your lungs. Feel the way your muscles and your ribs react. Feel the quiet and stillness all around you. Relax and try to pull your breath deeper into you, into your diaphragm, into your center. Breathe this way quietly until you'll feel the rhythm of your breath, slow and measured. Then allow your exhalations to sound. Push your breath out through your open mouth and listen to the way it sounds. Breathe this way until you are relaxed with it. Now allow one thought to be present. I am one with creation. In and out, slowly breathe and allow one thought to be present, over and over again. Allow yourself to sink into it completely. Allow yourself to feel the power of this simple ceremony. Other thoughts will try to enter your consciousness. When they do, exhale, inhale, and start over. Breathe in this way until your thoughts crowding in become too hard to push away. When you start to struggle, stop. Open your eyes. Every day, try to extend the time spent in this ceremony a little longer. Every day, try to push deeper into the feelings of the ceremony. Eventually, you will build up your ability to sustain your sacred breath and delve deeper into it quicker. Your ceremony time will be long or as short as you need it to be. So that's really awesome. That ceremony is so needed these days, and there's lots more in here and a lot of very beautiful stories and photographs as well. So go check it out. Richard Wagamise's One Drum. You can certainly buy this online or at a local bookstore. Thanks for joining me today in this beautiful garden. I hope I've given you some ideas for summer reading. If you have any suggestions below for anyone, put them down below in the comments. We can expand our libraries this summer. Hope you guys have a wonderful week as always. See you next time. Bye for now.